Hello everyone, this is Darrin Johnson, creator of the Knowledge is Power plan, and this is my 100 Days to Prosperity video series, video 9, and today I want to talk to you about sacrifice. Now when you're building an online business, it's very important not only to have a blueprint, an action plan, but also to have a conversation with yourself about what sacrifices are you going to make to promote your business. Now sacrifice can take many different forms. It could be, are you going to sacrifice your time and step away from the things that you'd rather be doing, than shooting a video or following up on your emails or making new connections. Sacrifice could also be, are you willing to invest more time into activities that's going to put extra money in your pocket so you have an ad budget? So for instance, it could be you deciding to take a second job, or if you work during the day, maybe you could pick up some extra hours on the weekend or in the evening and take that money and set it aside for your business. One example of sacrifice might be if you have a full-time job, but you decide that you wanted to, be an Uber driver or to do DoorDash or, one of these other opportunities where you can make a little money on the side, and then you just take that money and you set it aside and you use that for traffic. Or sacrifice could represent time. If you don't want to do that, you could invest more time in your evenings to do free methods. All that's sacrifice, and sacrifice and consistency are the two main things that are going to get your business going. So the question you should ask yourself is, what are you sacrificing? And everybody has to sacrifice something to be successful online. And so it just kind of depends on what that looks like for you. But like for me personally, my sacrifice is I'm willing to spend time on my business in the evening, and I'm actually willing to take on a second job if I have the opportunity, and take that money and set it aside for my paid traffic campaigns. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm going to cut back on some of the things that I spend money on, and I'm going to take that money and set it aside. So, for instance, I may not go to my favorite coffee spots, or I may not go to my favorite dessert spots. I loved, ice cream and Cold Stone and things like that, ice cream parlors for those who are familiar. But just cutting back those things and taking that money that you would have spent on that and putting it into your business, all about sacrifice. And if you'll find that if you're consistent in your sacrifice and you're consistent in your efforts, then you're going to go a long way in your business. Another example of sacrifice was I spent a lot of my weekends building my Knowledge is Power blog. And putting together valuable content for people to come and find information for those who are looking for ways to make money on the internet. So that's another example of sacrifice, and the reason why I do that is because I want people to view me as a place where they can come to get answers to their questions. And, when I started online, it was hard for me to find a leader who could give me information that I was looking for. I scoured the internet trying to find bits and pieces and putting together sort of a blueprint on how I was going to be successful. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to formulate a place where people could come and get, most of their questions answered. And for the ones that aren't answered, they could reach out to me and ask me directly, and I would be more than happy to answer those questions or to shoot a video explaining whatever it is that people, have questions about. And so that's, for me, another form of sacrifice, because I had to learn how to build my blog. I had to learn how to run my templates and how to, upload the stuff and put it the way that I wanted it to look. So that took a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice, but yeah, I feel like it's worth it, because this is part of my brand. And in a later video, I'll talk a little bit about brand and how I'm trying to brand myself. But the point of this video is sacrifice, and ask yourself, what tangible things can you do for your business that will help move you forward? And you'll find that whatever you come up with, there's gonna be a price to pay to get there, and that price is your sacrifice. It could be big, it could be small. It just kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But that's my video for today. I want to just put that on your mind. You're trying to build an online business. You may be new at this. Your sacrifice may be time to learn certain basics, certain fundamentals for your business. Or maybe you're not a newbie. Maybe you're experienced, but you're still sacrificing something, some form of time or effort to build your business, to accelerate your business and to move it to higher levels. So just think about it. If this is a business, you're trying to build something sustainable, something that you can use to either be your primary source of income or a supplemental source of income. But whatever your motivation is, just remember that in order for it to happen, you got to sacrifice. That's my message for today. This is Darrin Johnson of the Knowledge is Power Plan. I look forward to talking to you in video 10, and have a great day.